Welcome back to Community Tapestry. And if you're just joining us, my name is Napoleon Bell. I'm Executive Director with the City of Columbus Community Relations Commission, and my co-host here, Ms. Toni Teague. And our, this segment, is one of inspiration because we have a young lady here who has overcome some mountains and continues to strive, but is inspirational to us all. So I'd like to first just really introduce her because I'm excited. We have Janae Miller. She is a Columbus City School graduate, making things happen. I've heard so much about you. Miss Toni here has just been going on and on about you. So I am really excited to hear your story.
Well, I'm glad to be here. First of all, thank you all for having me. And I'm excited to be able to tell my story because I've been told it's a story worth telling.
Well, most definitely.
Yes, I am a Columbus City School graduated from Independence High School, and that's the 76ers.
All right.
What year did you come out?
In 97.
Oh, you're still a baby.
I don't feel that way as I get older and older. But I guess so.
Now you've been able to since birth that you had the.
Yeah, I came into the world. I was born with rubella, which is also known as German measles, and so I was born with that disease comes a few birth defects. Some for some kids are minor, some are major. It just depends. I was born with cataracts, a hole in my heart, which had caused me to have congestive heart failure, a heart murmur, and I have a hearing loss in both ears.
Wow, so you are a miracle sitting before us.
Yes, I wasn't supposed to live past 2.
Wow.
And tell us about your life as going through school, because again, you're a graduate of Columbus City Schools and you've gone on to college and you do great work in the community and you volunteer. So where did these seeds get planted?
Well, it came from my parents. Both my parents are Columbus City School graduates as well. My dad actually is not. He graduated from St. Charles. He played basketball for them. My mom she graduated from Eastmore. And they both were not only great scholastically, but also athletically. My father played basketball, my mom ran track. And so it was always instilled in me that achieving and education were top priority and you couldn't half do it. You just couldn't half do it. So from an early age, I always had known that making the grade, as they say, was very important. And I was always encouraged to put my best foot forward no matter what I did.
So you have a message for people, whether they are differently abled or not. And what is that message?
That message is that you're going to have some challenges, but you have to try to do what you can through resources and family support and even just finding it within yourself to keep pushing forward. It's not going to be easy, but you have to keep trying.
What are some of the challenges that you had to overcome, whether they were in your early years or even in your later years, because you are also in the workforce?
Yes. I think my first biggest challenge was learning that I wouldn't be able to see for the rest of my life. That was the biggest thing, and understanding the magnitude of what that meant. I wore glasses all through school until probably high school.
When did you end up not being able to see?
It's let's put it this way. I was diagnosed with glaucoma when I was 11. And so every year after that, my sight got a little bit worse. The majority of it was gone by the time I was in my early 20s.
How do you deal with that? I mean, because even people have, I get a cut here, this, that, and the other, and it's all temporary. But you had sight and then gradually lost it. Was it through those years where you just trying to grasp everything that you could see to see that?
Oh yeah, I did a lot of staring.
Yeah.
I stared at a lot. I took in a lot. I have an amazing memory. I thank God that I have a memory. I've always had an amazing memory, even before I lost my eyesight. It's like I've always had a memory like a sponge. And very imaginative, very, big and wide. So I think having the sight along the way kind of helped me along, but it was challenging because there was a lot to get adjusted to, and I'm very independent. Always been independent, and to get used to just asking for help, accepting help was probably the biggest challenge.
Wow.
And you went off to college. Where did you go to college?
I went to Rice State University.
Ah, what was that experience like?
Interesting.
Interesting. Well, tell us about that.
It was interesting. I spent 2 years in the dorm, and I always encourage all young people I encourage their parents and them to let their child go away and spend at least a year away and live in the dorm, because that really, I think, gives you a good insight into the real world, and you learn a lot about yourself living with people that you don't know and never met. And it was interesting in a good way also, because I did a radio show there for 5 years.
You were the host of the radio show?
Yes.
Oh, give us your radio voice.
This is 106.9 WWSU, Dane's Right Choice. Keep your doors locked.
See, before we know it, she's going to have our jobs here. I see it happening.
Good. She should do the promos.
All right. Oh, my goodness. Here we go.
So what did you get your degree in?
I got it in communication studies with a minor in sociology. I was intending to get a broadcasting degree, but being that I had my visual challenges, there were certain classes I couldn't take. So I kind of had to settle for a general comm degree, which I wasn't completely happy with, so I got a minor in another field, because general comm degree was boring to me.
Oh.
Well, have you ever, since you did the radio there, have you ever thought about, going back into radio? I hear that on 107.5, they're looking for somebody for the evenings.
I actually do work over at talktainmentradio.com.
Oh, great.
Okay.
I had a radio show there for several months and kind of on a hiatus right now, and I plan to go back. But I've done that pretty much. And radio has changed. Getting into commercial radio, at least for me, I find it to be challenging, because not everybody's not sure how to accommodate, and even though you explain how I can be accommodated, some people may not be able to grasp it in their mind.
Do you think they're afraid?
Yeah, I believe they are.
So how have you been? So you currently work, and do you want to tell us where you work and what you do?
Currently, I work for Huntington Bank, and I'm actually in transition. Going to be doing some work for the state pretty soon.
Okay. So are there things that you've been able to help the workplace understand about people with who are differently abled? How have you been able to help the workplace?
I think just me being there and seeing me move and seeing me move around, and I'm still doing things that everyone else is doing. It may be with some adjustment or accommodations, but I'm still pushing forward. I think that's the biggest thing, just being out there and not staying in the house. And I think that's probably the biggest thing. I don't really know what I've done. I've given suggestions on how to improve things, but everyone seems to tell me just my presence is a major deal, because you don't see people like me every day.
Well, you know what, and that's so true. I was just thinking that as you were talking. I said, you probably do so much for the people that you're around, more than you know, because and you sound to be very positive and very, very driven. And there are people out there that are not that way. So when they look at you and talk to you and hear you, there's this vibe that comes off that's saying very positive. So you're probably doing so much for them that you don't even realize it.
Well, I credit that to my parents, because when you have two parents and they are two different people, their approach to raising you can be similar but yet vastly different. My mom has a background in special ed. She is a special ed teacher by trade, and she works for the district. And my father, he has worked at places such as UNCF and OSU and the Urban League, and they both had a different approach. My father always, set the bar really high, and my mom was always the one that made sure I stayed the baby. But still, they both collaborated, at least when it came to education. They were always at school.
Tell Tell us about your friends. What was it like to go to grade school and high school, especially high school, as you were, developing more
I got bullied a lot.
You
I had
did?
friends, but I got bullied, and it was really interesting when I got to high school because I had, I wore glasses and I wear a hearing aid in my left ear, and so I always got teased for, and I wore those big giant Coke bottle glasses, the not so cool, stylish, non-stylish ones.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got teased when I got to high school, and by then my sight was on its way out. All those people that teased me all wanted to be my friend when they realized I had lost my eyesight from the last time they saw me.
Oh.
So it was not really, I kind of hated school, unfortunately. And it wasn't because education was bad, it was just the fact that I was bullied a bunch by kids.
Right. So you got through it. You got through it, and you got over it. And how did you get through it?
I had good family support in my faith. Really sustained me, and just having family that was very supportive, and having parents that were always at school. And I don't know. I just think just a combination of things, family and faith, and the few friends I did have, they were encouraging. So it's a mixture. I think everybody needs a mixture.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for those who don't have a lot of family and don't have a lot of friends. I think everyone needs a little bit of everything.
So really, it sounds like when we talk about the village and raising a child, it sounds like you had that village.
You had a good village.
Very good
good
village.
village.
You still
to
have a
help
good
raise it.
village.
I do.
Exactly right.
Speaking of village, you did something pretty amazing yesterday. You want to tell us what you did?
I belong to a community group called the Harmony Project, and we are a 200-voice choir, multicultural, multi-diverse, multi-religious, and we come together to show that no matter what your religious background, race, creed, ethnicity, anything diverse, disabled or not, that we can all live and sing and work in harmony. And we performed for the open ceremonies for the President's Cup.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Wow. So I heard somewhere, a little birdie told me that not only do you sing well, but you also play the piano.
I play. I'm not Liberace to be one of Alicia Keys, but I do play. I probably could be better than I am, but I love to play. It's I've learned to like to play. When I found songs I can play and sing, singing for me is my first love. But a lot of people prefer my piano playing to my singing, but that's okay.
You can do both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
Well,
You're the package deal.
Yeah, and I've learned to do that, and that's why I say I've learned to love the piano over the years. I didn't always like the piano, but I've learned to love it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay, so I took piano lessons, but I was forced to play. Were you forced to play, or did you say, you know what, I want to learn how to play the piano?
I'll tell you what, I learned. I was forced to play. Then I met a teacher that instead of her giving me books to learn songs out of, she asked me what I wanted to learn. And when she asked me that, it changed my whole view on playing the piano. Because I got to pick the songs, and I picked all the really hard pieces. And the person that did that is also a teacher out of the district. She's retired now, but it was Joyce Robinson.
Wow.
Well,
And when she asked me when I was in
Thank you.
high school,
yeah, thank you, Joyce.
Miss Joyce, yes, she asked me when I was in like 8th or 9th grade when I started working with her, what do you want to learn to play? And I said, really, I can pick whatever I want. And she said, sure. And I love classical music, and so I would pick all the hard classical pieces.
Oh, wow.
And that made me, that's I think when I fell in love with piano.
Mm-hmm. That brings up my next question, because I was wondering, do you have teachers and people outside of your, we know that you have an amazing mom and father and siblings, so who else inspires you?
Out of family or just in general?
Yeah, let's go with teachers. Do you have an educator? Because we've named this piece an enterprising people. So you certainly are that. You're a genius. You do lots of amazing things, and somebody's probably fueled your fire along the way.
Oh, there's been a whole list of people.
And you get to pick one lucky one.
One lucky one.
We might give you two. But
Oh gosh.
First person that comes to your mind. Don't overthink it. Just do it.
My kindergarten teacher.
Ooh. Tell us about it.
Mrs. Malarkey. She was my kindergarten teacher at Leewood.
So
Tell us about her. Why'd
She
you like her?
Actually, I think I just want to say not just her, but all the teachers I had from first through, I'll say, third grade, all of those. But Miss Malarkey, Miss McKinley, Miss Perry, all those when I was in those first, early years of school, coming into the, when you're 3, 4, and 5, and you're scared and you don't want mommy and daddy to go home, and you're in this classroom with kids who you don't realize are just like you. I went through the visually impaired program that the school district still has. And she was very inspiring as to encourage me to keep, going and to not let anything get in my way. She babied me but wouldn't baby me. So I thank her for that.
That's amazing. I mean, because I try to think back also about what teacher really inspired me. So who do you model yourself after? Who's your role model in your
Who's my
life?
role model?
See, we're making
And
some
no
tough-
pressure, even though
Right,
your
no
mom's in the
pressure.
studio audience. There's no pressure there.
Oh gosh,
She already knows that she is. So
Well, I can name 2 people, and they're famous people.
Okay.
And I've had the pleasure of meeting both of them. One is a lady by the name of Cece Peniston.
Oh, I love her voice.
I've met her. We've been kind of friends over the years. I know her parents.
Okay.
And the other one is Alicia Keys.
You met her too.
Yes.
Wow.
We need to
Yeah,
start
we
hanging out with
hang
her. That is
I've actually
amazing.
had the pleasure of meeting a lot of famous people over the years. But those 2 really have inspired me. Just when you look at their life and when you hear them talk and you hear the confidence in them and what they, strive to do to change the world and how they've gone about their careers and how when you meet them in person, you can tell they're not consumed by their status. They're simply just people.
That's beautiful. Well, I tell you, you inspire. I know you inspire both of us. And who you are and what you do, and just by being here. So we really appreciate that, and wish you the best. We've run out of time, but we wish you the best and the rest of your life. You'll have to come back and continue to
Inspire us
update
some
us. Exactly right, because we always need that little inspirational boost.
And that's what I'm told I'm here for.
That's right. Thanks, Janae.
You're welcome.
Thanks so
Janae
much.
Miller, everyone.
Right.
Janae Miller.
We appreciate you, Janae, and we appreciate our viewing audience. And we have another segment. So with another extraordinary person that's
So
making
stay
some things
tuned.
happen. Especially if you read books, you definitely won't want to miss this. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this message.